The regulatory framework for genome edition in Ethiopia can be traced back to the development of the first biosafety law in Ethiopia in 2009, which was then amended in 2015 and approved by the Parliament of Ethiopia. In order to implement the biosafety law of Ethiopia, a number of directives, guidelines, and regulations have been developed. And after many years of consultation, in 2025, Ethiopia also approved the first genome editing guideline. Now, Ethiopia is one of the 7 African countries who has drafted and approved the genome editing guideline. And this has really created a very conducive environment for undertaking a number of genome editing research in Ethiopia. And basically, the Ethiopian genome editing guideline normally takes into account the normal process that's being used by Ethiopian Environmental Protection Authority, where a detailed case-by-case review for both genome editing and GM is normally in place. And now a number of GED products which have been under research have been really considered for deregulation process. 4 projects are normally being undertaken here in Ethiopia. The first is genome edited TEF. Genome edited TEF is a collaborative framework between EIR and Danforth's Plant Science Research Center in the US. And the genome editing process in TEF is normally trying to achieve lodging resistant TEF. Lodging is a critical problem in TEF production in Ethiopia. And whenever it happens during physiological maturity, it brings around 40 to 60% yield loss. The second one is on Ethiopian brassica, which is commonly called Brassica carinata. This is also an indigenous crop in Ethiopia, which has a very systemic problem on utilization and production. And especially when it comes to utilization, the presence of uric acid has been a major problem for utilizations of Brassica carinata. And producing low-containing Brassica carinata lines through conventional approach was not also a success. However, now we have really managed to develop lines of low Eurasica containing Brassica carinata varieties, basically. The last project that we have is on developing genome edited, heat-resistant and drought-resistant barley lines. This is done in collaboration with the government of Denmark. However, of all the 4 products, the only product that has gone through the deregulation process in EPA and allowed for field trial is TEF, and other products has to follow soon. We are expecting that probably Ethiopia can be taken as one of a model countries for genome editing here in Africa. And we expect that we'll have a national center of excellence on genome editing, which can be used not only for Ethiopia, but also for the rest of Africa. We'll have a model genome editing research strategy to be developed in plants, animals, and microbes. And of course, a strong academic program in genome editing in Ethiopia really can be taken. But more importantly, Ethiopia will be one of the first African countries to commercialize African orphan crops. Crops which are grown in Africa only, used by Africans. And of course, we have a philosophy of really Ethiopianizing genome editing in Ethiopia. Ethiopian crops, by Ethiopian institutes, by Ethiopian scientists.